Warehouse, Carlsville Street in Uniontown. Shop Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, Saturday till noon, closed Sunday and holidays.
Home Warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Are you interested in earning your degree online or finishing your degree? Take your career to the next level at Salem University. Salem University offers more than 50 online degrees and certificate programs. Learn how you can advance your career with degrees in nursing, business, education, criminal justice, and IT. Salem has 4-week classes starting once a month. Contact Salem University by dialing 844-462-9128, option 1, or visit salemu.edu to see if you are eligible for our partnerships offering tuition scholarships.
Amedisys Hospice and Home Healthcare invite you to their 4th annual car cruise as they celebrate Hometown Heroes Community Day, Thursday, October 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Uniontown Mall. Bring your classic car, no registration required, and join Amedisys in supporting our community. Vendors are welcome to participate and can register their business for a free vendor table by contacting Amanda DeGespie at 724-208-9783. Gift basket donations are also being accepted and may be dropped off to Amedisys Hospice at 649 Cherry Tree Lane in Uniontown. Bring the family to this community event. Enjoy the car cruise plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, free entertainment, and free giveaways. I'm TJ DeStefano. I'll be there broadcasting live along with Arnie Amber and the famous WMBS prize wheel. Come say hello, spin the wheel, enjoy the fun, and celebrate Hometown Heroes Community Day with Amedisys Hospice and Home Healthcare Thursday, October 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Uniontown Mall. Together, we are the best in Fayette.
Thurby Riverside Ford announces
2025 new Ford F-150 XLT Hybrid 4x4 has 3.9% for 60 months plus 3. The best-selling SUV in America, the 2025 new Ford Explorer has 3.9% for 60 months plus $1,500 open bonus cash. And the king of all trucks, the new 2025 Super Duty XL 4x4 has 3.9% for 60 months or $1,500 retail customer cash.
It's time to see Ford in a new light. Did I mention the new 2025 Ford Maverick Crew Cab XL all-wheel drive starting at just $29,065?
Thurby's Riverside Ford, your 26-time Ford Presidential Award-winning dealer, located 1 mile past the casino at Nemacolin. Hurry, offer ends September 30th. Ford Motor Credit financing required. See Joey, Jimmy, Sammy, or Ashley for your Thurby deal.
Looking for a new spot for a night out? Then check out Shindig's Bar and Grill in Uniontown, located in Oliver Square. With regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot.
I'll tell you what, folks, I just sat down with my budget worksheet, pencil, paper, and a calculator. And you know what? I cut my expenditures by 15.1%. That's real savings, and I froze my salary, saving the taxpayers over $1,800. I'm doing this to try to save money for the residents of Fayette County because the commissioners have raised your taxes 78.2% in just 6 years. That's not right. On November 4th, 2025, vote for me, John Marietta, for Recorder of Deeds. Let's keep fighting for fiscal sanity and protect your hard-earned money.
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate. for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking,
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly, and I'm back, and it's a Trump-tastic day here in Fayette County. Today's show is being brought to you by Miles' Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul, they're the IDF of Fayette County, Premier Auto Glass, Country Motor Sales, JB Market, Gunslingers, Auto Ordnance, Thundering Hills Feed and Supply, The Ink Spot in South Connellsville, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, Fayette Structures, Solid Foundation Ministries, New Life Free Methodist Church, Highline Motorsports, Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio, and John Marietta for We the People. By the way, we sold some more hay yesterday. We're down to about 30 bales, I think, or give or take a few. We'll have to get them all counted. So if anybody's wanting hay, it's still $30 a bale, and we'll load it up for you. And we have the ability to deliver small quantities.
John, that's a big round bale?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I got my friend Gino Gallo here with me too today. So, the Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. That's Proverbs 12:22. And folks, that's the heartbeat of today's show. Truth. Straight truth. No spin. No smoke, no mirrors, because here in Fayette County, we've had enough of the lies. Now, today's very special with me. I've got my good friend Gino Gallo on the show. Yeah, that's right, Gino. And let me tell you, some of these lie builders out there on social media have been working overtime, trying to push this fairy tale that Gino and I are at odds. How many nights did I spend on your porch?
Oh my, I don't know. A lot. We flowed the river. We hang out.
Everybody thinks we're fighting. And then and everybody's trying to say that we're not getting along. They want you to believe there's drama, division, or some kind of feud. Wrong. And that's dead wrong. Gino's my friend, and he's here with me today to prove that the truth always outlasts the lies. And believe me, we've got plenty of lies to deal with because you've heard them. I've heard them. And some folks right here on this very radio station like to pretend they're Republicans, but they are thrown out, but they have been thrown out of the party. Why? Because they wrote checks to the other side. That's not Republican votes. That's betrayal. And yet these people get behind a microphone, bash me, bash reform, bash the truth. It's desperate and it's dishonest. Meanwhile, let's talk about something that actually matters, your money. Since 2019, the commissioners have raised your taxes 78.2%. That's nearly double in just a few years. Families are feeling the pinch harder than ever. And that's the truth. We've done the math 3 times since my budget meeting this afternoon. But here's the kicker. Under their watch, these commissioners oversaw the Fay Penn scandal, which we don't know where it's at yet. They spent your money on pet projects. They handed out tax breaks to elitist resorts. And they made your family home unaffordable with their endless tax hikes. And now we've got it on good authority. They're under investigation by the Attorney General. No wonder Dave Lord resigned. But here's the difference. While they're busy digging deeper into your pockets, I froze my salary, which they're not wanting to let me do, by the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're not.
That's crazy that they won't let you.
I wanted to freeze my salary. They don't want to let me do it. I cut my expenses. I did cut my expenses. And actually, I was wrong, Gino. I said it was 15.1%. It was actually 22%. And I did something nobody else bothered to do. I put the automation fund right on the recorder's website for everyone to see. That's transparency. That's accountability, and that's how government ought to work. And yet the lie builders twist it. They say I'm paying my campaign team out of that fund. Absolute nonsense. A flat-out lie. Another cobweb of falsehoods or lies designed to manipulate you, the voter. And remember what the Speaker of the House said. It's harder to build a lie than to tell the simple truth. But some folks would rather break their backs piling up lies than tell you 1 ounce of truth. And then there's my opponent. Folks, this man can't even answer the most basic question. What is a woman? When does life begin? If you can't answer those, you don't belong in leadership. Period. And on top of that, he doesn't even know the difference between a .com and a .org website. He actually thinks the way a website ends determines whether it's secure. It's not leadership. It's ignorance. And instead of learning what does he do? He plays the victim card, and he says his proxies and he and his proxies run around whispering lies about me to anyone who will listen. That's not leadership, that's weakness. But here's what they can't stop. People are waking up. Young voters, Kennedy Democrats, abandoned by their party. The party's left them, and they realize that. Libertarians, independents, and guess what? We got a phone call from the Constitution Party of Pennsylvania, and they're going to be here on Election Day. They're all coming together and saying, you know what? John Marietta's the guy for the people. That's why I got endorsements not just from Republicans, but also from Democrats, independents, and libertarians. Because truth, accountability, and integrity don't belong to one party. They belong to the people. The people. Meanwhile, Vince Facilities, you already know that name, a man tied to old school backroom politics, a man who raised your taxes 78.2%, then disappears to Florida. And my opponent? Just Vince's guy. That's it. Another cog in Vince's machine. And Fayette County doesn't need any more of Vince's guys hanging around the courthouse, helping themselves while you pay the bill. So today, I'm setting the record straight. Gino Gallo's with me. We're going to talk about truth. We're going to talk about reform. We're going to talk about how this county doesn't need more lies, more taxes, more taxes, which is on the way, and more old guard politics. It needs leadership rooted in transparency, responsibility, and faith. Because at the end of the day, folks, it comes back to what the scripture says. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. And Fayette County is about to choose trust over lies, reform over politics, and truth over spin.
Wow, that's a lot, John. I can't wait to get into it. And, first of all, listen, I have never, ever, at any point since I've known John, have I had a disagreement with him or fallen out with him. There's very few things we disagreed or even agreed to disagree on. I can't even think of any offhand. I've known him to be nothing but trustworthy. I see the work that he does. And I tell you, we're very lucky to have someone in a row office that does more than is expected of him. John does a great job at the recorder's office. That office runs smooth. The opponent says he's going to digitize things. John's already got it done. I mean, they're trying to twist the automation fund and things, and there's a lot of people coming against John, and they're coming against him because he won't just shut up and do his job and hang on to his job and be quiet. And we need, at this time in Fayette County's history and in the history of this country, we need people who are going to stand up and call out the BS. They're going to call out this crazy spending. I mean, these commissioners are still, they're not done. The Rat Tunnel wasn't enough. The Gallatin Bank building wasn't enough. I mean, and on and on and on. Now they dumped close to $1 million into the federal building, a building that we leased. It doesn't have a county tenant in it, and we still have vacancies in and floors that aren't done in the Gallatin Bank building. They can't stay on one project. They just keep leverage us into debt further and further. You know, it was just last year that they went to Judge Leskinen and they asked him, hey, we need to break the law. The county code says we're not allowed to be a debtor county, but we need special permission from the courts to go into debt. And he gave it to them. And you know, so now for the first time, Fayette County actually is a debtor county. We are running at a deficit, folks. We just did a tax increase, and yet they spent $1 million on a property that they rent. This is insanity. I mean, and it has to stop somewhere. And unfortunately, I think now they're running off a physical cliff. And my question, where are the other row officers? Where are those elected officials? Why aren't they stepping up? I mean, I'm curious why we're not hearing more from the controller, more from the treasurer. We need elected people in these county seats that will step outside, because John is an insider. He's inside the courthouse, literally. He hears what's going on, and he brings that to you. He shares that. We need more people doing that, and we need to keep him in the recorder seat so that he can keep doing what he's doing.
Well, just one of the little things, Gino, that we've been able to do with the help of Proden Law offices is we've been able to televise the county commissioners meeting.
Oh, they hate you for that, John. The commissioners hate the fact that you sponsor, along with Proden Law offices, that you bring that to the people, because it's actually a big deal, because they could have. I'm not saying they need to have
every meeting at 7:00 at night, but they could have several of them a year, and they can also have them in a couple different places if they want to. The technology's there that they could have them. They could have one in Connellsville maybe, or you could have one out at the airport. How about the airport? They don't do nothing for the airport. The poor airport's out there, and then they just pretty soon the people out the airport they'll be flagging. Airplanes in and stuff, instead of with lights. And
well,
things.
that is one of the things that infrastructure we should be investing in instead of $1 million on a roof. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of that. Why did the county? I missed that. I don't know. Did it go out for bid? Yeah, I know. I still have to work, but. Yeah, but that's what's important. It's important those county meetings are made available. They hate you for that. They hate you for calling out the rat tunnel, all the other things. And I tell you, folks, you see them.
They told us about the connection between the courthouse and the DA's office, which I didn't have a problem with. We can have a walkway there. We can do whatever we need to do. But the money was supposedly allocated, and then they ended up having to take it out of the budget.
Right, and so these are the kind of things. It's because they're out of control spending on all the things that we've covered over the last few years. It's led to we're not a financially resilient county anymore. And now the state,
we're losing population.
We are now. We've got the state. The state has big problems with passing a budget. So the commissioners will try to blame the state, but the state is on trouble. This budget thing is almost an annual thing for the last decade. But we don't have the resiliency because, frankly, they've let even with these outrageous tax increases. And, folks, I hate to say it, they're going to have to do something there. And they refuse to make the cuts. They just want to keep spending. And this spending is all falling back on us.
Well, one of the things I want to get into, I don't have enough knowledge about this, but I do have a question to ask. When they built the jail, there was supposed to be an SPCA built alongside it or with it, or that was what I understand.
So
where's it at?
Well,
where did the money go? It was allocated.
Building jails are always complicated, so I think that was one of the shifting things, much like they do with the budget. So they pass a budget and then they move stuff around after the fact. And I think it's one of those things. I don't think they had any intention of ever having the SPCA here, an animal shelter. I don't think that was ever. I think that was all just baloney to sell the jail to the public to get reelected. My goodness, John, if you remember right, they had a ribbon cutting for the jail just prior to the election, and the jail still wasn't ready for another 6 months.
Yeah.
And on top of it, they paid interest on the loan for almost 6 months. A few $100,000 a month when we didn't have any jail. So there was no savings there. That's a lot of, to have Vince made the public believe that jail was saving us money hand over fist. Then that same very next year, they raised taxes to cover, in part, they're over the fact that they went over budget on the jail. Now they'll say they didn't go over budget, but when you budget high, you move money around, and that's all they do. They just play a game, moving the money around. And and a lot of the money, they don't just move through government; they move through Fay Penn. And you will hear the commissioners on this radio station, in the newspaper, at public events, praising, particularly Commissioners Donovan Cities, praising Fay Penn on all the great stuff they do. Fay Penn's worth about $55 million, right? And now. And I did see on Facebook where Charity Grimm, and big snaps to her, she advanced some of the information that she had that was actually public information, frankly, of some of the conflicts. She advanced it to the state attorney general.
Yeah.
And we also know people from our own team have been contacted and provided information.
Yep.
And I sure hope that goes somewhere. If they liquidate that would go a long way towards solving the county's financial woes.
Well, we're $82 million in debt right now, plus the jail. So this is where we're at.
Something has to give, folks.
Something's got to give because the population's dwindling. Property owners are taking a bath.
I just don't understand how when our population shrinks year after year, why they continue to grow the government. And this is, let's face it, Fayette County's red, right? Supposed to be run by conservatives. Where is this reflected in our local government? Why are our other row officers not doing like you, John, and stepping out And I get they just want to hide and keep their job and go along and get along, but we need people to stand up now. I mean, that's what you saw with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, right?
Yeah.
This is a big call to action, and God bless anyone that's in elected office or even runs for office. It's a tough game, but we need people that will stand up. I don't know where, for instance, your opponent, I haven't seen him in any of the meetings concerned about the taxes, and I hope that if he would get elected, John, that he would take your role on more than just, we need people to go call these people out. John, you have got to get back in there. You're the only one. You're the row office. We don't have a controller that's doing it. We don't have a treasurer that's doing it. The recorder, the register of wills isn't doing it. It's falling on you, and there's a vacuum, and it's falling on you, John. And I commend you for taking the chance, putting the extra effort in, funding the radio show. John, you can't be any more transparent. I know you've got people out there spreading lies and spinning. And even the commissioners, they're saying you didn't cut your budget. And you said you never did. You said you cut your expenditures.
I cut my expenditures.
Now, those commissioners know the difference between expenditures and expenses and a budget. And God, I hope they do. And maybe they don't. But it's all those little semantics and playing these games. John, you were the one that exposed, not exposed it, but you shared with the public this tax increase before it happened. You helped to spread the word. And we need that today. We don't have an aggressive newspaper reporting things. We don't have, the radio's doing, really, it's WMBS is the only one that's bringing us the news. And not everyone, unfortunately, listens to the radio and Facebook. And it's so easy for things to get manipulated. But I think you can look around. In this whole Penn State situation, it breaks my heart.
Yeah,
the commissioners came in after the fact and put a big show on, but they needed to save Penn State 5 years ago. They needed not to court Salem University. These are missteps that and maybe that wouldn't have changed the outcome, but it sure didn't help. And so. John, I know you make the commissioners crazy, but someone has to be the watchdog, and you do a great job of that, and I appreciate it. And I know the personal, the financial cost, and the personal cost to do all the extra that you do, like with this radio show, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that you organized a great event or helped. I think there was a lot of people, but you were one of the key people. Told me about the Charlie Kirk Memorial. You guys got another one coming up
on October the 19th.
And that's fantastic.
1 o'clock at the Free Methodist Church Camp. There's a big barn out there, and I'll tell you what. You know what? It's worth the ride out there to see this building, to see this barn. It's amazing, it holds approximately 500 people, and we're hoping to fill it up. We're going to pray for the county. We're going to pray for the state. We're going to pray for the country, and we're going to have gospel music, and it's going to be a big deal. Right now we don't have. We have several different people that tentatively said they're going to be there, but we're trying to get some people from Turning Point maybe to say a few words because of how this is going on. I know that people were taking a beating, and it just isn't me. Our president takes a beating every day. You think about all the things he's done. He's negotiated, I believe, 7 peace treaties or 8 peace treaties since he's got in office. And I will tell you, Donald Trump definitely knows the difference between a man and a woman, and he definitely knows when life starts. And
does he know the difference between a budget and expenditures? I suspect he does.
Right. He does. That's where they try to spin things. They try to make things out, and I have no control over the whole budget. I only have control over my expenditures.
Fayette County, we need conservative leadership, John. We need you in the recorder's office, and we need our other conservative leaders to step up.
The time I left the budget meeting until I got down here, I took a bid on something that's the county budgets, and it looks like I'm going to be able to save if I have to figure all this out. But we're approximately going to save another $5,000 a year out of my expenditures. So,
and let me get this clear though: the commissioners don't want to credit you that with the budget.
No,
they want to leave your budget amount the same. You asked them to reduce the budget, but they won't change it. And the reason, folks, they won't do that, I'll tell you why. I've been in a lot of those budget meetings. They want that extra money in the budget so they can move it around after the fact. They want to get their budget passed at the end of the year, And then if it's in there, and they do it all the time, it just takes 2 commissioners in a back room, can move money from one budget to another. They can take it out of the budget and just move it around. They don't want accountability. They want that cushion. Now, the problem in the commissioners unit, really, it's not the row officers. I mean, they all stay within their budget. They all do pretty good. I'm sure over the years, some of them have some things pop up. The out-of-control spending is coming right out of the commissioners unit.
It is.
And the budget goes up every year. It's almost double.
You know, we got a building sitting off of 119 that's completely empty. I don't know what it cost to build, but it had to cost several $100,000 to build that building.
No, you mean, well, that was over $1 million.
Okay, so
yeah.
I mean, you could play football in that building.
Right.
And it's just sitting there empty. The county did that, and they'll say about grant money. It's just like Mike Tremont said yesterday. He says there's no grant tree behind the White House to pass these grants. There's none in Harrisburg. It's your tax dollars that they're using. No matter where it comes from, it's your tax dollars. Government runs on taxes. The government doesn't run on the lottery. Back years ago, I mean, we're gonna start the lottery, and it'll help senior citizens and it'll reduce taxes. Well, it was supposed to take care of property taxes. So,
right. Let's talk about gambling for a minute. I'm not against adults having the right to gamble, but it started out with just a 3-digit number, and then it was the big 4. Now you got groundhog saying scratching off tickets. So you've got this now. That groundhog, this is getting ridiculous. They're advertising. The state's actively promoting gambling now. What do you think would happen if they really legalized marijuana in a real for recreationally? Are they going to advertise, the joys of smoking marijuana and promoting it? I mean, you usually don't have to promote vices. The fact that the state promotes gambling so much to sell more scratch off, it's really concerning. I think it shows you the slow slide that society's on. But we got to pull it back. Like here in the county, I know the spending just keeps going on and on and on. Just like the state can't seem to make enough off the lottery to give the break to seniors that they promised. Right, and there's no real savings there.
Or the end of property taxes.
Right, there's no end, but they advertise more and more gambling. So are they going to tax every vice and legalize everything? We'll still have to pay property taxes because they lie to us, folks.
Well, there's something about the state I can tell you right now. This is how government has failed us in the state of Pennsylvania. Just think about this, folks. In 1958, 57, I'd have to look up the year for sure. We built a road across the state. It's called the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and it was going to be paid for in 10 years. I believe. And we wouldn't have, and it would be maintained, and we would have enough of money. Well, guess what? You're still paying tolls, and it costs. And back then, I don't know what it cost to get from New Stanton to Harrisburg, but say it cost $3 back in or $2 back in, which was a lot. But you think about it, now we're paying. It's like $100 to run the length of the turnpike.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
These truckers are coming off the turnpike. They're running 68. They're doing everything they can. They're trying to run 80 as far as they can because of the enormous fees. And we still are paying for this turnpike. They cut. Now let's go even further than that. They took away all the toll takers. Okay.
Right.
So everybody's gonna. They can't collect the money. They can't. They're having trouble collecting the money because they didn't set it up right to do it. So now you drive through and you get a bill. You're supposed to get a bill, the Easy Pass thing, but people were scamming that to the point where they're losing money on that now. So I just don't understand.
Well, see, folks, this is why we can't leave it all. We can't just wait till the presidential election to vote, and we know more people do vote, and that's important. But this local election coming up is very important. Local politics is really where it's at.
Change can be made.
This is where the change happens. Your school boards, your county government. There's no reason. I mean, every county official at this point should be looking to shrink the size of county government and not keep blowing it up. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me that Scott Dunn and Vince Facilius have expanded the budget so much. We're still not back to pre-COVID levels. They took that COVID money, they leveraged, and they use it to grow the government, and they just keep growing and growing. They won't stop. They're out of control. That has to stop. And right now, we need Jon to stay in the recorder's seat so he can keep, pointing out things like, hey, do you know, like he told me, hey, you know that they dropped close to $1 million on the federal building on the roof? We don't have it. There's not a county office in there. There's I think there's just a Penn State Education.
Yeah, I think.
Well, why wouldn't they should have put it out of Penn State. Maybe it would have been more of a reason for Penn State to stay. Or they should have put it in the Gallatin Bank building that they so desperately needed to have. It's just insane that we're trying to maintain all these buildings, and they're all old, and I don't know. It just, the math doesn't add up, and at the end, we all pay, and we were all co-signers on the loan when they took out the loan, these tax anticipation notes that they've defaulted on last year. Now we've got one. We're going to have to do some other kind of loan. I mean, at this point, I guess I'll have to go back to the judge, and I sure hope that the judge doesn't grant them another opportunity to put us further into debt.
Well, if it probably depends on how the law reads with that, but they're probably going to do a loan. That's probably what they're going to do. They're going to do a loan like they did before the election, and they'll do a loan so they don't have. They'll say they didn't have to raise taxes.
So every loan they take out is we're co-signing on, and your house is on the line, and they will raise taxes to cover that debt. They got to just quit spending. And John, we need you in there. So, folks, please vote for John. We really need him in there. He keeps bringing you all the extras. I mean, there's a lot of people coming against him now. They want to try to cancel him. So I mean, they're so desperate. They don't want the truth to be told. We keep bringing it out. I mean, they're coming at John with every kind of lies. Pray for John and his family. They're going through a tough time right now. And I got nothing against John's opponent. It's just that I know what I got with John Marietta in there, and I like it. And me and most of my family, we're all on your side, John, and we really want to see you win.
Well, that's
in a bigly, right? We want to see you win in a big way. Bigly. And because we really got to send a message. And, other conservative candidates, no matter what party they're with, test out these candidates. We need them. People got to start stepping up. And in your workplace and everything, it's really time. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's really a call to action for Christians to stand up, and we've got to get control of this thing. This government, there's no reason Fayette County should be going the way it's gone. No. We've got to really get a hold of it, and you do that at your school board, your local. Look at your candidates that are running locally. Ask them. Are you for smaller government? Do you want to rein in government? And at that point, that's what we need in our local municipalities, and that's what we desperately need in our county. I mean, it's just everything's run amok here. And it all starts at the top. The leadership, Vince Facilities, has dropped the ball. I mean, he's consistently been the same, though. In all fairness to Vince, he consistently governs the same, tax increase after tax increase. I think we did a combined, we added it up very carefully, and over his tenure, his time in the commissioner's seat, he's raised taxes 78%.
78.2.
78.2.
Actually, it's more than that because that's just from 2019. It's a little bit more than that. But we're only one tax increase away from 100%.
I mean, they just keep growing and growing, and we've got to stop this. We're at a place we have to cut government, and that means cutting some services, but you got to do it. You got to get rid of all these buildings, and you got to eliminate these kickbacks and these grants. If there's not a plan to maintain after the grant, they chase these grants, they get these grants, and we end up with buildings. Now we got a federal building. I guess it has a new roof, John.
Yep.
But no tenants in there. So I don't know. Are we in the real estate business as a county? I don't think we should be.
Well, they moved the coroner's office over to the 911 building. I believe that's where they moved Bob Baker over.
Now, Bob's one of those. He is actually one of those guys that are in county government, like John. He doesn't keep his head in the sand. He's out there actively doing things, bringing the facts, the figures. He's cut his budget, I know, and he's doing great things. And he's a phenomenal coroner. And that's the kind of guys we need to reward him, John Marietta. We got to look for these guys.
The district attorney and the sheriff, they on both ends of the building. They're kind of got to do what they got to do to keep their offices running. So,
sure. Well, yeah, that's essential. That's kind of essential service.
I believe the district attorney's office gets a little bit of gets some funding from
other sources.
From other sources, and from nefarious funds and things like that. That people, ill-gotten money and things
now,
like
Mike
that.
Auble, he's been in the news a little bit. We've had some very unfortunate,
he's
unfortunate things. And you know what? Let's talk about those. It's the climate that's created here, the poverty climate created by these tax increases and the lack of leadership at the commissioner's level. These bad things happen all over the state. But, you're going to see more of that. Just it's the poverty, it's the challenges that are brought in, the lack of leadership here that's created this. And, we're losing population like crazy. We're losing our best and brightest. We are, financially, we're still stuck. Taxes keep going up. And you look at, for things that aren't important, that aren't essential really for us. It's just it's out of control spending, and we've got people that are really hurting, and that's creating a lot of these bad situations that then create an uptick in things that the coroner have to deal with the drug problem, and the district attorney has to deal with, and the sheriff has to deal with.
Well, the sheriff has, like I said, I haven't got to talk to the sheriff. I actually spoke to him today, but it wasn't about something else. But I do know that the fentanyl, the overdose deal, the people, it's a concerning problem because it is. He has to deal with that on a daily basis. So does Mike Auble, and I feel for both of them because they got tough jobs. They do. They got the sheriff has to make sure that the jail is properly taken care of. The prison, the Fayette County Prison, he has to make sure to keep the security in the courthouse taken care of, and then plus they got other things.
Listen, folks, we've got great conservative leadership, that sheriff, and then the district attorney's office now, Jon, the coroner. We need this. We need to encourage this. We need to keep right now conservative leadership in Fayette County, and we got to get real conservatives in the commissioner seats. That's the other thing. I mean, we're real close. We can't go backwards now. We've got to keep Jon in place, and we got to keep our elected. We got to keep conservative leadership in. That's what we got to do. And we're gaining. This is the first time. I mean, we've come a long way, Fayette County. But we got to go further, and we need real conservatives. And the ones that are in there, we need to encourage them and pray for them to step up and take on more than just their role. We don't need people that are going to keep their heads down and just do their job. We need guys that'll step up and step out, because you're starting to see that now. It's not just you, Jon. I mean, there are some other. I mean, we got other people.
Yeah, and then one of the things, and I want to thank all the people. I get to go up to the mountain a lot anymore, and I get to meet with a lot of good people. I actually, Periopus is if you haven't ever been to Periopus is a beautiful little town. I get to be out and about amongst all these different places. Actually, I'm going to eat wings Laybell. Laybell's having a wing night down at the firemen are having a wing night on Friday night. So I'll go there. Probably go to one of the football games. There's a lot of good things happening in Fayette County, but then you gotta watch, because you're driving through. You drive around and you see how some of these towns are just dying. I mean, completely, and it's sad. Gina, you're from Connellsville. You remember when you were a kid? There was Troutman's, there was Murphy's, there was what was the store across the street from Murphy's?
Troutman Building.
Well, there was Troutman's, but
Burns's
drugstore was down there. I mean, all these little towns, all these little businesses that help fuel and keep Fayette County going. And you know what? Where did they go? Why don't we still have some of this in the county? Well, I mean, Main Street in Uniontown, that we should be nothing but full of businesses and people coming in. We need manufacturing jobs in the county also. That would be out towards. You have the Big Six industrial park, but how many years did it sit completely barren out there till we finally got some people in? The river down there, the river down there at Connellsville. People don't realize until you went down the river just a little bit what a gorgeous place we have down there. And I know you got to go down not near enough this year, but
not as much as I'd like, but I live right there. I do enjoy it.
You know, I mean, it's part of the tradition from the guys from Dunbar and the guys from South Connellsville and Connellsville.
Well, yeah, and then from Connellsville, all the folks in Dawson do it, and then from Dawson all the way down to Wissett.
Yeah.
A few years ago was at a river sojourn talking to some fellas from down in Wissett, and we were sitting around a campfire, and they would say that the guys from Dawson would bring the tubes, and they would hop the train home, and they'd leave the tube. Well, that's what we used to do. We'd start Bustle's tires, get inner tubes, float the river, ride the train home, leave the tubes in Dawson. The Dawson guys would use the tubes. They got recycled all the way down, at least to Wissett.
Then they take the train.
That was interesting.
You have to get up on the railroad tracks and catch the train and come back.
Yeah, they usually run pretty slow. Yeah.
Yeah, you think about a lot of this stuff that's happened, and I'm not against any kind of recreation. I mean, I love a high pile. I think we need to develop that whole as much.
Well,
as
the whole
can.
tourism thing's great. The bike trail thing's great, but you got to be realistic. It's not going to drive this economy. It's going to be good for the few individuals at the top. The people that want to work and you want to make that your vocation, or you're right on the trail, or you own the campground, or you own the hotel. But no one's a job in a hotel, other than maybe the manager. It's not even a living wage. That's why they bring immigrants in for a lot. That's why that's what usually happens to these things. But this county has got to quit chasing the grant money. They got to focus a little different, more on industry and factories. I mean, that's what Faith Bend's supposed to do, but unfortunately we see a lot of people in and around and associated with Faith Bend using it for personal enrichment. John, but this is why it's important. We need elected officials to get this county's definitely got it could go one of two ways now. And I do feel like we've been heading in the right direction for the last I'd say 10 to 7 years, but we got to keep going. We're not far enough there yet. At the county level, things have been going awry. I was really disappointed in different people that got elected on a conservative platform, and they turned out to be extremely liberal.
One of the things that we do, and I know that South Union has a lot of business in it. I know they have a lot of the Lowe's, the Home Depot. I know that they were lucky, they were fortunate there. But you know what? If we would follow their lead, if we would follow the three commissioners over there in South Union Township's lead, they do a good job.
Well, they've had good leadership, sustained good leadership over a long period of time, and they got the results. Results don't lie.
And the other,
a good tree bears good fruit.
And North Union Township, they got good commissioners there. Dunbar Township is you can see it just seems like from the top down we're trying to squash these people. I mean, it really does. I mean, I get to talk to all these. I'm out and about almost every day, every night, talking to different people, and the biggest concern that people have right now, and anybody can say what they want, but I'm talking to people, is, are we going to get another tax increase? And when I tell them yes, they look at me like, John, and I said, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean,
well, it has to happen, John, because instead of using that money in cutting services, they expanded things. So you've bought more buildings. That's more electric bills, more janitors, more roof repairs at $1 million a clip. That's just all those more windows to clean, more windows to replace, more people to staff. You have empty rooms. They're going to shove someone in there. It's just insane. And then with regular inflation and things, our leadership went exactly the wrong way, and they won't correct. I just can't believe they haven't corrected. After the tunnel incident, then they go and spend $1 million on a roof. I mean, it's like they're not learning, they're not adjusting.
Like I said,
and the public,
back, Gino, they were building a prison. They touted that there was going to be they were going to do something about our animals that need to be taken care of, and for adoption or whatever they have to do with these animals. And I mean, cats are out of control right now.
Well, listen, that was just a bold-faced lie. They just that was a lie. There was never an intention.
The money was allocated.
You can't get the commissioners money. They're going to spend it 1,000 places. Consultants, I'm sure it went to consultants, engineers, kickbacks, envelopes, who knows. But it didn't go where it was supposed to go. That's the key. And at the end, we still had a tax increase. We still don't have an animal shelter. There's a lot of trouble with the jail that they hid and spun and, said it wasn't as bad. And, they did their grand opening. And they're going to continue to do that. And the proof is in the fruit. Well, a bad tree, bad fruit. It's as simple as that. Tax increase is coming. All you got to do
is come to the courthouse and take the elevator to the 4th floor and just see what's going on up there. I feel bad not that I agree that we need jury commissioners, but I feel bad for the people that are in that jury commissioner's office because they're up there by themselves. It looks like a bomb went off up there. Things are just everywhere, and it ain't the maintenance people in the county. There's
too much. There's too many buildings, too little staff. They've got everybody squeezed. They got to get rid of buildings. They got to downsize. They need the right size, the government to fit our population. In fact, and that goes back to the whole thing. We're classified wrong. We're breaking the state laws, but they won't shrink the government. They had a perfect opportunity with the jury commissioner. That showed me that they're never going to shrink the county. And they cry, we're mandated to do this stuff. You're mandated because you won't follow the rules. You won't go to court. You won't petition the court to move the classification of the county to where it should be.
Yeah.
We need leaders that will right-size the government. It's the fairest thing you could do for the taxpayers that are left.
Well, we're looking at. I will tell you that I've been fortunate. Thomas Massey and Rand Paul and Mike Tremont. They're all helping work out some things, and it looks like in a 4-year period of time we can reduce the debt in the county by $15 million. And we got some things going. We're looking at a whole bunch of different things, and that's where we're at. I mean, we need to be able to reduce the amount of money that we're paying out in interest, and that's what's killing us.
Well, these loans, see, this is the problem. When you take out a loan, you're spending tomorrow's prosperity today, and that's what they did. They've taken out loans in addition to raising taxes. I mean, it's the worst combination and the worst timing. And now the state issues. And the other thing is they become so dependent on these grants and handouts from the federal government and the state government. And guess what? They aren't coming anymore. I think Trump's drawing a lot of that stuff up.
Well,
as it should happen.
It should happen. Yeah, it should happen. Like I said, he chopped the grant tree down, and now let's get back to where it needs to be. You know what? There's a reform coming in all government. There's no doubt about it. It's probably going to be one of the biggest reforms since the New Deal.
I'm anxious for the day that all of the politicians start becoming reformers like you, John, and pointing out the problems, and then we can start fixing it. And that's what we're doing. It's not that we want to sound negative. We're just trying to be truthful with people so we can start to deal with these problems instead of kicking the can down the road. Vince is so masterful. His plan is to kick all these problems down the road until he's finally gone back to Florida or wherever. He just wants to kick, and he's been pretty good at it so far.
Well, anyways, I appreciate you coming in, Gino. I really do.
John, anything I can do for you, you just call me.
I know, and I'll probably be sitting on your porch before the end of the night.
And we'll be with you for Election Day, and anything I can do to help get you elected. Well, you're the type of guy we need in there.
I thank you so much, and I know it took some time out of your. Actually, Gino was going to be with us yesterday, and he ended up busting a tire on a big machine, and he ended up having to run to Washington, and all didn't work out. But anyways, it worked out for us. Okay, I'm going to close up like I always do. I want everybody to understand that we don't want to be gloom and doom. We can figure this out if somebody just would take the time to do it. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad. Love what you got and remember what you had. Always forgive and try to forget. People change. Things go wrong. But just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
Sunny and 75 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios. Now CBS News on the way next at WMBS Uniontown. It's 5 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by